Thank you and welcome to the show today. The topic this morning is the African American Church and historical black colleges. And we're fortunate to have with us to talk about the African American Church and the role that this church has played in the development of historical black colleges, Dr. JBaxter. And of course, Dr. Baxter will give us some additional information in reference to his background, his education, and some of the things that in the end were important in bringing him to this particular show for today. And of course, let us have you to do that, Mr. Baxter, Dr. Baxter, by talking about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in terms of eventually leading you to this particular spot today.
Let me say good morning, Dr. Haney, and I kind of enjoy being with you today.
Thank you.
Well, I'm JBaxter, and I am a native Nashvilleian. I grew up in a family of 7. I'm Miss Venus' baby boy. My mother's very religious. I came out of a Christian home. I'm a graduate of Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee, and I hold a master's and a doctoral degree from Tennessee State University. And yes, I'm so glad I went to TSU. I am a public educator. I teach at Hillsborough High School, world history and world geography. I also teach in the evening school at Tennessee State University, where I teach American history. I'm also a member of the clergy. I am a preacher, not pastoring. The Lord has blessed me and saw fit to place me on sabbatical leave. But I would say that out of all of the children that my mom and dad had, I'm the only child to graduate from high school and then to go on and receive higher education. So the Lord has certainly been good, and I thank him for all that he's done in my life.
You know, when we talk about the African American Church and historical black colleges, Dr. Baxter, I think that sort of calls to mind the situation of the African American race following emancipation and following slavery in 1865. Why don't you give our audience some idea in terms of the challenges that must have met these Africans coming out of slavery in 1865 and a desire to have education?
Well, Dr. Haney, if we look at America during the antebellum period, more specifically the slave era, we know that every southern state participating in that particular institution or the peculiar institution of slavery, it was prohibited for a slave to learn how to read and write. Knowledge then and still is today is power. So the major goal of every slave master was to keep the slave enslaved, to keep him ignorant, and then to indoctrinate his mind that he was to obey his master, that an evil curse had been placed upon him. So it was against the order of the day for a slave to be able to read or write, because you became a dangerous individual on the plantation. However, we do know that on some plantations, house slaves were taught to read and could write by way of the master's wife or a hired hand on plantation. And then certainly after Emancipation Proclamation or going into the post slave era, we know that churches, black churches, saw the need to establish institutions for the sole purpose of educating sons and daughters of former slaves. So they set up institutions throughout the South and up along the northeast Atlantic seaboard. Schools like Lane College, schools established by the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church, which Lane is affiliated with, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the AME Zion Church. These church affiliate organizations saw the need to set up institutions of higher learning for the sole purpose of lifting the veil of the former slaves and for the education of generations to come. So churches have played a major role in educating African American people from slavery to freedom. If we look at Nashville, Tennessee within itself, of course, Fisk University was founded by way of the American Missionary Association. And certainly it was named after General Fisk. But when we look at Fisk University has done an outstanding job in educating African Americans. Now, the year was 1866. Fisk University was founded for the sole purpose of educating slave children in Tennessee.
And so there's a real history when we bring up the topic at the African American Church and historical black colleges. These churches played a real role, a crucial role in the real sense.
These churches played a profound role because when we look at their approach to educating the former slaves.
Let us interrupt right here,
Yes.
Dr. Baxter, because we have to take our first commercial break, after which we'll come back and continue our conversation. The topic is the